بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. أما بعد, once again by the tawfiq of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, tawfiq of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, we are gathered once again to study the work of Aqidah al Wasitiyyah and its explanation by Abu Abdullah Ahmad al-Taymiyyah rahimahullah rahmatun wasi'ah. This being Wednesday, Yawm al-Arbi'ah, the 31st of December 2003, the 8th of Dhul Qa'dah, 1424 Hijri. We remind the brothers and the sisters that these durus from this particular book is a series. It's a series. You may get some benefit by popping in and out, but the full benefit is achieved by attending each lesson. And if one is not able to do that, then at least obtaining each cassette recording of each lesson and going over it. We have individuals brothers who may call in from other places. We'll have on the phone sometimes on the line Chicago, sometimes Atlanta, sometimes Virginia, sometimes this place, sometimes that place. And they don't get the full import of it because they don't have the benefit of the lectures that's preceded. So, these lectures are like a chain, each of it connected to the other. And this is the only way you're going to get the fullest understanding of the subject. Where we were last time was explaining the mu'allaf, the author, rahimahullah, ibn Taymiyyah's statement, or the Shaykh was explaining, من غير تحريف ولا تعتيل ومن غير تكييف ولا تمثيل. And that we believe in Allah Ta'ala with what He has described Himself with in His book. And we believe in Allah Ta'ala in the manner that He's been described by the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in the Sunnah, without these four mistakes. These four major mistakes. These four major crimes. These four major issues that would destroy one's belief. من غير تحريف. Someone can mention to us what's tahrif? Don't all rush. Fadl. Nah. And it can be done to what? Fadl. Example, anybody? You, if you got it. So this is tahrif to what? Distorting what? What are they changing here? The ma'na, the meaning. An example is distortion of the word. Alhamdulillah. Jayyid. Tahrif. Ta'atil is where we are at now. And I'm not asking about the ta'wil situation because, like I said, it was a side issue. It's important to know in a general sense. In a general sense, I mean by like this. If someone says that the hand of Allah Ta'ala is above their hands, means His power, this is ta'wil, what will be your response? Kadhabta, you've lied. This is tahrif. But ta'wil comes in the meanings that we took for the word ta'wil. First of them is what? Tafsir, meaning of an ayah. And the other meanings that we have taken, just as a side knowledge, you have that there, and it's there so you can refer to it, inshaAllah ta'ala. But when the Salaf say the ta'wil of this ayah, this cape or cape, they mean the tafsir of this ayah. And so the mubtadi'een, since they wanted that their bid'ah and they're playing with the text of Qur'an and Sunnah to be more acceptable to the people, they use a term that would make the people feel at ease with them, which was ta'wil. They would not call it tahrif, because tahrif tells everybody that they're distorting, they're playing, they're changing the book of Allah. So they came with a word that would make people feel at ease. And in reality, it was still what it was, even though they gave it a different name. So this is regarding the term ta'wil, and we took the different meanings of that term. The Shaykh rahimahullah gave it in detail. He gave us examples. The story of Yusuf, and the story of Yusuf gives example from Aisha radiyallahu anha, and the hadith regarding Surah Al-Nasr, إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحِ. And these type of matters regarding the term ta'wil, if someone is more interested in that, they can go back to the previous lecture, or either previous lecture or the lecture before that or whatever, and benefit in that way. Now ta'til, we said, was what? Ta'til.
Because this is where we left off, basically.
To reject or deny. We said in language it came from what? You want to recall what it came from in language? Believe something. Bi'rin wattila. Which is what?
A well that has been
deserted. This is where it came from in the language.
So it means takhliya wa tark, to leave
the meaning, to deny the meaning,
to reject the meaning, make the thing matruka, make the thing left alone.
I mean that you reject it or you deny it or you leave it. What does it mean though in this area of Aqidah? When we say that this brother has made ta'atil,
it's kind of a ta'atil. We want the
full expression of it. And what do we mean when we say that he's made
ta'atil of the names and qualities of Allah? Any wahid minkum. Other than, it's just, these are the only brothers going to answer questions tonight. We're going to, this 1, 2, 3, 4, khalas, bus. Nobody else. Ta'atil. Indika Abdul Qayyum. Ta'atil. To deny. Right? Deny the names and qualities of Allah Ta'ala. Do I have to, I'm going to start calling names now. Huh? Brothers don't think I know your names. Ta'atil. To deny the names and qualities of Allah Ta'ala. To deny them. Now that can be done in one or two ways. It can be done totally or it can be done what? Partially. But it's still ta'atil. al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah. Those upon the way of the Salaf, they do not deny the names and qualities of Allah Ta'ala. But rather they believe in them and accept them totally. Now we had a distinction between ta'atil and tahrif. Right? Rather than go in great detail to it, he brought us to another illness that is really a partial way of denying the names and qualities of Allah. Breaking it down clearly, ta'atil is to deny or reject the names and qualities of Allah. Once again, ta'atil is to deny or reject the names and qualities of Allah. It can be done partially or it can be done totally. Those who do it partially are the individuals who do tahrif, distort, because in order for them to distort or change something, they had to deny what was there in the first place. In order for them to say, for instance, the hand of Allah Ta'ala is over, the power of Allah Ta'ala, the hand of Allah is over their hands means the power of Allah, they had to reject the meaning of what? The hands of Allah. So this was what? Ta'atil. Another group of them came and said, I don't know what it means. I leave that to Allah. Allah has a hand. I don't know. Allah says, I don't know. I don't know. You're going to make me know something I don't know. Huh? I don't know. It sounds just like Alif Lam Mim. It sounds just like Kayf Haya Ain Sad. Just like I don't know the meaning of Kayf Haya Ain Sad, I don't know the meaning of the hand of Allah is over their hand. This madhab al-khabith, the sick, filthy, nasty madhab that they try to ascribe to the Salaf and to those on the way to Salaf is called tafweed. Tafweed. So those brothers, inshaAllah ta'ala, who have penmanship in Arabic, it's Alif Lam Ta Fa Wa Ya Dad. Tafweed. They say I got it. They say that nufawwidul amr, we leave the matter with Allah. And they act as if they're being righteous in this matter. They act as if they're being righteous by saying this. And I leave that matter with Allah. Nufawwidul amri ila Allah. Amruhu ila Allah. I leave it to Allah. This is aslam. This is more safe. Right? I don't know what it means. Allah knows what it means. This type of mentality, right? This is the aqidah of tafweed. In reality, it is what? Ta'atil. You're denying the meaning that's there. Right? So this is what the Shaykh, rahimahullah, rahmatun wasi'ah, wants to make clear. That the belief of the Salaf is free from tahrif, distorting, changing, playing, coming up with your own interpretation, or from the interpretation of the minds of other men or whatever, when it comes to the names and qualities of Allah Ta'ala. All of that is live, playing, and distorting and changing, and free from ta'atil, free from denying it, whether absolutely and totally, or rather partially. And because of this, if we understand that we are innocent of both of those, we're innocent what Ash'ari upon. Those who change the meanings and say, the istiwa, the rising of Allah over the throne, is istawla, it's Him conquering the throne. The hand of Allah is above their hand means the power of Allah. The sending of Allah to the lower heavens of the dunya is the sending of His mercy. All of this is what? Tahrif, distorting. So we're free from that. And at the same time, we're free from those who say, I reject the names of Allah Ta'ala. I deny the names of Allah Ta'ala. Or I deny some of the names of Allah Ta'ala. And I affirm some of the names of Allah Ta'ala. I deny some of the qualities of Allah Ta'ala. And I affirm some of the qualities of Allah Ta'ala. Or I deny that the outer meaning is meant, and I say, Allahu Alam, what's meant? Tafweed, which is still what? Ta'atil, rejection of the meaning. Still rejecting of the meaning and denying of the meaning. So this is where he says, bari'ah, we're innocent of those on the way to Salaf. وبهذا, with this, we understand how far astray, the fact that this person is al-dalala, on going astray, wal-kadhib, and he's lying. Man qalu, those who say that the way to Salaf, brother, is tafweed. The way to Salaf is tafweed. Come to the ayat of the names and qualities of Allah and to say, akhi, leave that with Allah. I don't know what that means. That's with Allah. That's the way to Salaf. This is a person who's what? Al-dalala, alayhi salam. Al-dalala, upon going astray, and he has waqa'ah, fallen into what? Kadhib, lying. He's lying. Hawlai dhallu, these have went astray. In qalu dhalik al-jahl, if they say that because they're ignorant bi tariqat as-salaf, wa kadhabu, they're liars. In qalu dhalik al-amd, if they said that intentionally, كذبوا على وجهين على لغة Hijaz. We took this, right? Lying in two ways, as we say Hijaz. We try to figure out an English equivalent. We didn't really come up with one. يعني الكذب عند الحجازيين بمعنى خطأ. Meaning he has made a mistake. When the Hijaz, he says he's kadhab, he lied, made a mistake. In other words, if you say something wrong in a narration, or you say something wrong regarding ruling, they'll say kadhabta. You know? And they mean by that akhta'ta. That you've made a mistake, they say you've lied. And even though you did not intentionally do so, that was the case. Because what you said, if kadhab, is to inform somebody khilaf al-waqi', the opposite of what is reality. And so if your statement was wrong, then it was the opposite of reality. So that's why they call it that. وَعَلَى كُلِّ حَالٍ, it's no doubt that those who say that the way of the people of Sunnah is tafweed, they are mistaken. Because the way of the Salaf is to affirm the meaning and to make tafweed to the kayfiyya. The way the Salaf is to affirm the meaning and make tafweed to the kayfiyya, to the how. Other words, they believe in the name and qualities of Allah Ta'ala and in the meaning of the name and quality of Allah Ta'ala. For instance, the quality of istiwa has four meanings with the Salaf, as Ibn Qayyim mentions. Yani istaqarra, he settled on the throne. Yani sa'ada, he rose of the throne. Irtafa wal ulu. These are the four meanings. All of its highness and over, arising and settling. Like this. This is in the language. But as to how he did it, and the reality of how he did it, we leave this to who? Allah Ta'ala. We don't know it. So the tafweed, if it is placed where? On the kayfiyya, on the how. Those individuals who say that the way the Salaf is tafweed in the sense of the meaning, we don't know what the meaning is. And you don't know what istiwa means? Come on. You don't know what yet means. You don't know what wajh means. You don't know what alim means. You don't know what none of these qualities of Allah Ta'ala, alim, al-hakim. You don't know none of this. You don't know what hikmah means now. Right? You're going to deny all of that. I don't know any of those meanings, leaving with Allah. No, the ma'na fil lugha, the meaning in the language is understood. It's understood. What is to be left or vouchsafed with Allah Ta'ala, or placed with Allah Ta'ala, because it has no other place, no other way you can place it, is the how. The reality of the quality, the how of it. Huh? This is what you say that is left to Allah. And that is why Imam Malik said, وَكَيْفَ مَجْهُولٌ. The how is unknown. I mean, unknown to us. Unknown to us. And that's why Allah says, وَلَا يُحِيطُونَ بِهِ عِلْمًا. You are not encompassing with your knowledge. So this is what a tafweed is. The tafweed is not to the whole ma'na. Every time you come to a verse in the Qur'an that mentions the names and qualities of Allah, you're going to reject it or say, I don't know what that means. Anybody in their right mind can make a distinction between Ar-Rahman, Ar-Arsh Istawa, the most merciful rose above the throne, and Kayf Haya Ain Sad. There's a difference between them. One you understand the meaning of, and one you don't understand the meaning of. And to make them similar is foolishness. Alright? وَلِيُعْلَمَ أَنَّ قَوْلَ بِالتَّفْوِيض كَمَا قَالَ شَيْخُ الْإِسْلَامِ ابْنُ تَيْمِيَّةَ. You should know that this statement about tafweed, and that is the way the Salaf, Ibn Taymiyyah says, مِنْ شَرْ أَقْوَالِ أَهْلِ الْبِدْعِ وَالْإِلْحَادِ. It is the worst statement of the people of innovation and the people of deviation. It's the worst statement. And it's often like that you find that the worst statements are those where the people are trying to be in the middle and trying to indicate that they're neutral and trying to indicate that they're somehow intelligent and they thought it out and they've come up with this. They're the ones who come up with the what? The worst statements. Honey? Well, I won't do tahrif, distort, and come up with my own meanings. And I won't do ta'til outwardly, reject it. I say, I'll leave the matter with Allah. Who can find fault with that? Those who have basira, clarity in the Aqidah, say, like Ibn Taymiyyah said, this is the worst statement of Ahl al-Bidah. The worst statement of Ahl al-Bidah. Tafweed. At-tafweed. عندما يسمع الإنسان التفويض, a man hears tafweed. Once again, when he hears tafweed, someone say, Akhi, I don't know what that means. I leave that matter to Allah. Subhanallah. Leave that with Allah. Taqillah. Right? When man hears that, يقول هذا جيد. This is good. Man got some taqwa. He don't want to go into these issues, you know? He's a servant. Recognizes his status and his position. You know what I mean? He's safer than these people and these people, right? لا أقول بمذهب السلف ولا أقول بمذهب أهل التأويل. I'm not going to say what the Salaf is saying, but at the same time I'm not going to say what the people who make distortion is saying. أسلك سبيلا وسطا. I'm taking a path that's in the middle. I say them are the worst guys. And this is why some of the Salaf used to say, those who sit with Ahl al-Bidah are harder upon us than those who are from Ahl al-Bidah. The middle guys, the guys in the middle, right? أسلك سبيلا وسطا. I'm going to take a middle course. وأسلم, and more safe من هذا كله, than all of this. وأقول الله أعلم. Allah knows best. ولا ندري ما معناها. I don't know its meaning. لكن يقول الشيخ الإسلام ابن تيمية رحمه الله. الشيخ الإسلام ابن تيمية says, هذا من شر أقوال أهل البدع والإلحاد. This is the evilest, the most evil statement from the people of bid'ah and deviation. The most evil statement. وَصَدَقَ رَحِمَهُ اللَّهِ. And he has spoken the truth, may the mercy of Allah be upon him. إِذَا تَأَمَلْتَهُ. If you think about it, if you consider it, وَجَدْتَهُ, you find that this statement, تَكْذِيبًا لِلْقُرْآنِ, is a rejection of Qur'an. وَتَجْهِيلًا لِلرَّسُولِ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامِ, and the declaration that the Messenger عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامِ is ignorant. وَاسْتِطَارَةً لِلْفَلَاسِفَةِ, falling into philosophy. Three things he just said, if you think about it. It is rejection of Qur'an. تكذيبا للقرآن. وتجهيلا للرسول, declaring ignorance of who? The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And falling into the way of the philosophers. تكذيب للقرآن, it's rejection of Qur'an. Why? لأن الله يقول, because Allah says, وَنَزَّلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ تِبْيَانًا لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ. And we revealed to you the book as an explanation to everything. Surah Al-Nahl, verse 89. Ayat meaning, sent the Qur'an as a bayan, clarification, as an explanation, fi kalimat, in its words. Is it a bayan if you don't know the meaning of his words? Is it a clarification if no one understands its meanings? وَهِيَ مِنْ أَكْثَرَ مَا يُرَدْ فِي الْقُرْآنِ وَأَكْثَرَ مَا وَرَدْ فِي الْقُرْآنِ. Especially if what you're talking about is that which is coming in the Qur'an so much, in so many places, and that is the names and qualities of Allah. إِذْ قُلْنَا لَا نَدْرِي مَا مَعْنَاهَا. If we don't know the meanings of the names and qualities of Allah, how can the Qur'an then be an explanation, a clarification for everything? What's the bayan? What's the clarification if we don't understand that? So you see, he's takdeeb, making takdeeb, rejection of this ayah. Allah said he explained everything. You say here, this is not clear. Allah said this is the meaning. I don't understand it. Made a clarification, elucidation, clear, everything. And you saying it's not clear. You are what? Takdeeban, committing takdeeb, rejecting the Qur'an. Then you're making tajheel. You're declaring ignorant the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. إِنَّ هَذَا يَقُولُونَ أَنَّ الرَّسُولَ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ لَا يَدْرِي مَعَانِي الْقُرْآنِ. They are saying the Prophet ﷺ didn't know the meanings of Qur'an that had a connection to the names and qualities of Allah. So if the Messenger ﷺ didn't know, then anybody else was first and foremost. The Messenger ﷺ is ignorant of the names and qualities of Allah, and the meaning of the names and qualities of Allah, then anybody else is what? First and foremost. وَأَجَّبْ مِنْ ذَاكَ يَقُولُونَ. What is more astonishing in this is that they say that the Messenger ﷺ يتكلم بكلام, would speak some words regarding the qualities of Allah. And once he spoke those words, he didn't know what it meant. He says, رَبَّنَا اللَّهُ الَّذِي فِي السَّمَاءِ. Our Lord who is in the heavens, who is above the heavens. That's what this sama means. And if he's asked about it, I don't know what that means. This doesn't make any sense. He affirms a quality for Allah that comes out of comes off his his tongue. And he says, I don't know what it means. Because in the statement, Allah descends to the heavens of the dunya. With a su'ila, he's asked, my man, what's the meaning of this? And what does it mean that Allah descends? I don't know. And upon this, you can judge everything else. They are declaring that the Prophet ﷺ is what? Min al-juhala, a'udhu billah, from the ignorant, in the matter which he is supposed to be the most knowledgeable one regarding. In that issue which is his most important issue, the names and qualities of his Lord. The names and qualities of his Lord. وَهَا هُنَاكَ قَدْ أَحْذَ مِنْ هَذَا قَدْحٍ. And is there a disrespect greater than this disrespect to the Messenger of Islam? بَلْ هَذَا مِنْ أَكْبَرَ القَدْحِ. This is a worse disrespect and blame that you could find, that you could muster. A messenger from Allah who was sent to explain matters to people, and he himself don't know the meanings of the names and qualities of Allah. He's sent to explain, and he doesn't know. He's sent to tell others, and he doesn't know. When he talks about in his ahadith of the names and qualities of Allah, he doesn't know what he's talking about. وَهُوَ يَتَكَلَّمْ بِكَلَامٍ. He's saying words. وَلَا يَأْدُرِي مَعْنَ ذَلِكَ. He doesn't know what he's saying at all. فَهَذَانِ وَجْهَانِ. This is two types. تَكْذِيبَ الْقُرْآنِ, rejection of the Qur'an, وَتَجْهِيلُ الرَّسُولِ, declaring ignorance of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So you see how they think they're running from something bad, and they run into that which is worse. In their zeal to claim neutrality, and we're in the middle, and we're being intelligent, and we're being more fearful, and we're being this, they wind up, as Ibn Taymiyyah says, saying the worst statements, having the worst statement of Ahl al-Bidah, and rejecting the Qur'an, and belittling the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, but rather declaring him ignorant. وَفِيهِ فَتْحِ الْبَابِ لِزَنَادِقَةٍ. And in this they're opening the door for the Zanadiqah, those who come to Islam to destroy it, those who study Islam to destroy it. These are the Zanadiqah. الَّذِينَ تَتَاوَى عَلَى أَهْلِ التَّفْوِيضِ وَقَالُوا. They said to the people of Tafweed, the people who took this position, that I don't know the meaning. Say, Ar-Rahman, Istawa, akhi, I don't know the meaning. I won't go into that, akhi. I don't know. Allahu alam, akhi. Right? Allahu alam, akhi. Like this. You know? Yad Allah fawq aydihim, the hand of Allah is over there. Oh, akhi, Allahu alam, akhi. Stop. Right? Allah knows best, akhi. Right? These individuals like this, قالوا أنتم لا تعرفون شيئا. This is not because say you don't know nothing. بل نحن الذين نعرف. We're the ones who know. And then they started to give tafsir of Qur'an and other than what Allah meant. He said, and they said their argument, dig their argument. The argument is that it's better for us to give these texts a meaning than to act like ummiyin, illiterate people like you, and don't give it no meaning. So they started to give what they wanted to give of the meanings to the names and qualities of Allah. And the people of Taqweed took this position. Can't reject it because you just said you didn't know. So I ain't going to reject what I'm saying, and you just said you didn't know. Alright? لا يستطيع يرد علينا أن يقولون نحن لا نعلم ماذا أراد الله. We don't know what Allah meant. فَجَائِزْ أَنْ يَكُونَ الَّذِي يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ وَمَا قُلْتُمْ. So therefore it's possible that what Allah meant is what you're saying. So Zanadiqa. The people came and just lied upon Allah Ta'ala, gave whatever meaning they wanted to give, they opened the door for them. They opened the door for them in this regard. Now, فَفَتْهُ بَابَ الشُّرُورِ عَظِيمًا. They opened the door to great evils. وَلِهَذَا جَعَلِ عِبَارَ الْكَاذِبَةِ. They came with an expression which is a lie. You find this expressions in the books of those who were raised up on this Aqidah. The Aqidah Sha'ira, the Aqidah Mubtadi'een. You find in Jawhar al-Tawheed, you find in the books of, in the writings of Rasail of Hassan al-Banna and the likes, you find them saying what? Tariqat al-Salaf Aslam. The way of the Salaf is safe. What Tariqat al-Khalaf. The way of those who came after the Salaf. A'lam wa ahkam. It's more knowledge, has more knowledge, and is more wiser. Tariqat al-Salaf Aslam, no doubt. The way of the Salaf is safe. But Tariqat al-Khalaf, those who came later generations who came, their way is what? A'lam, more knowledgeable, more knowledge-based. Well, what? Ahkam, more wise. يقول الشيخ الإسلام رحمه الله هذه قالها بعض الأقبياء. This is what some stupid people among them said. You call them أقبياء, غبي. وهو صحيح. Ibn Taymiyyah agrees with Ibn Taymiyyah. هذا صحيح. This is true. And قال غبي. He's غبي. Stupid. هذه كلمة. This word or expression من أكذب ما يكون لتقا ومدلولا. It is that which is the biggest lie in its actual wording and in what it is trying to be evidence of. طريقة السلف أسلم. The way of the Salaf, Aslam. وطريقة الخلف أعلم وأحكام. The way of the Khalaf, the later generations, is more knowledgeable and more wise. كيف تكون أعلم? How can it be more knowledgeable? وأحكام. And how can it be more wise? But that one is more safe. لا يوجد سلامة. You won't find safety unless you find knowledge and wisdom. أبدا. Unless it's wiser and more knowledgeable, you won't find safety. فَالَّذِي لَا يَدْرِي عَنْ طَرِيقٍ. The one who doesn't have any knowledge about the path, he won't be safe. لِهُ لَيْسَ مَعْهُ عِلْمٍ. Because he doesn't have any knowledge. وَلَوْ كَانَ مَعْهُ عِلْمُ الْحِكْمَةِ. And if he had knowledge and wisdom, he would have been safe. فَلَا سَلَامَةَ. There's no safety except with knowledge and wisdom. This is first. إِذَا قُلْتَ أَنَّ طَرِيقَ السَّلَفِ أَسْلَمَ. If you say that the tariqah of the Salaf, the way of the Salaf is Aslam, it's more safe, lazim, it's a must that you say, therefore it's more knowledgeable, has more knowledge, and is more wise. And if you did not, then you will be someone who is mutanaqidan. You are contradicting yourself. You are contradicting yourself. إذن فالعبارة الصحيحة, after knocking down that, says, so the proper expression, tariqat al-Salaf, the way of the Salaf, Aslam is more safe, A'lam, more knowledgeable, wa Ahkam, more wise. وهذا معلوم. This is known. وطريقة الخلف ما قاله قائل. طريقة الخلف, the way of the latter generations, what one of them said. All of them, usually on their deathbed, regretted going into the way of the Khalif. Regretted going into philosophy and ilm al-kalam and bid'ah. Regretted going into all of this. Many of them said statements upon their deathbed that showed this. This particular piece of poetry, mentioned by Abdul Karim al-Shahrastani in his book called Nihayat al-Iqdam fi ilm al-kalam, and the feat's end, or the end of the feat in the matters of this bid'ah of kalam, and in other words, the last result, what happens in the end. وَلَمْ يُبَيِّنْ قَائِلِهِمَا. He didn't say who it was. Ibn Qayyim mentioned Sawa'iq. لَأَمْرِي لَكَتِّفْتُ الْمَآحِدَ كُلِّهَا. By my life, I have went all over all the various institutes. وسيرت طرفي بين تلك معالمي. Went all over the world. فلم أرى إلا واضعا كفا حائرا. I did not find except someone placing his hand upon his chin in confusion. ألا ذقني قارئا سن نادما. Oh, someone biting at their fingertips out of what? Sorrow. And it was this long time in my life that I'd been looking into these innovations. And upon the way of the Ash'a'ira or the Mu'tazila or these, this is all I found. فَلَمْ أَرَى إِلَّا وَاضِعًا كَفًّا حَائِرٍ. Someone who's confused, placing his hands up on his chin, or biting his fingernails out of sorrow. هذه الطريقة التي يقول عنها. This is what they want to tell us. And he's saying about these people that he found them placing their hands up on their face, hands up on their chins, out of confusion. هذا ليس عنده علم, because he doesn't have the knowledge. Or أخ قارئ سن النادم, feeling regret because he didn't take the path that was safe. He didn't take the path that was clear. He didn't take the path that was right. والرازي وهو من كبرائهم يقول, Razi, Fiqh Razi, and he's from their leaders, said in a piece of poetry also that he says, in the book Aqsam al-Dhad, also Ibn Qayyim brings in Sawa'iq, نهاية إقدام أقول إقال وأكثر سعي العالمين الضلال. The end result of these people's mind is that they were lost. وأكثر سعي العالمين الضلال. And most of those who have went, their striving is going astray. وأرواحنا في وحشة من جسومنا. And we find our bodies, our souls, in disillusionment regarding our bodies. وغاية دنيانا أذى ووبالا. All we found in this dunya was nothing except harm and loss. ولم نستفد. We did not benefit. من بحثنا طول عمرنا. From our detailed research all of our lives. سوى أن جمعنا فيه قيل وقالوا. Except we gathered that he said and she said. Except that we gathered, she said and he said. ثم يقول, then he said, I looked at the matter of the Kalamiyah, these Ahl al-Bidah with their scholastics, with their philosophy, those who took the books of the Greeks and translated them into Arabic, and the book of the excuse me, Hindu philosophers and translated them to Arabic to understand what? To understand the names and qualities of Allah Ta'ala and understand these issues dealing with Allah. He said, I looked at all of them. وَمَنَاهِجَ الْفَلَاسِفَةِ. The way, the methodology of the philosophers. فَرَمَا رَيْتُهَا تَشْفِي عَلِيلًا. I don't see that it cures the illness, nor does it satisfy someone in need. وَوَجَدْتُ أَقْرَبَ الطُّرُقِ. And I found the closest way, the most right way, طَرِيقَةُ الْقُرْآن. The way of Qur'an in these matters. You want to affirm something for Allah Ta'ala? اقرأ في إثبات. Read when you're confirming Ar-Rahman Ar-Istawa. Allah, most merciful, rose above the throne. Read when you're affirming إِلَيْهِ يَسْعَدُ كَلِمُ الطَّيِّبِ. To him goes up the good word. Read when you are denying لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. There's nothing similar to him. Read when you're denying وَلَا يُحِيطُونَ بِهِ عِلْمًا, and you will not be able to encompass him with your knowledge. وَمَنْ جَرَّبَ مِثْلَ تَجْرِيبَتِي. And he who experiences what I experience, out of مِثْلَ مَعْرِفَتِي, will know what I know. And this is someone who spent his whole life upon this bid'ah and innovation and ilm kalam and philosophy and these things, saying man jaraba mithla tajribati, he who experiences what I experience, out of mithla ma'rifati, will know what I know. Ahawala yaqul. After all of this, these leaders among them who have said this on their deathbeds, can someone claim that their path is more knowledgeable and more wise? Alladhi yaqul. One of them said, and he's Abu Ma'ali al-Juwayni. He says, in yatamanna, really I hope, an amut al-Aqidah al I hope that I die upon the way of the old women, of the old men of Naysabur. You know, it's the older, the fitra, the correct Aqidah. That I die upon the way, I hope that I die upon the way of the Ajais, of the old people. The Ajais of the old women of Naysabur. Al-Ajais min awam al-nas, from the general people. يتمنى أن يعود إلى أميات. He would rather be illiterate. Can you say about that path that is أعلم more knowledgeable, وأحكم more wise? أين العلم الذي عندهم? Shaykh Ibn Taymiyyah asked. Where's the knowledge that they had? فَتَبَيْنَ طَرِيقَ التَّفْوِيض. That this path of tafweed, when someone comes to an ayah and they say, Akhi, I don't know what that means. It's just like Kate Hayya inside. Akhi, Allahu Alam what that means. Yadullah fawqa aydihim. Hand of Allah over their hands. Allahu Alam. Akhi, don't stop that. I don't know what that means. Ar-Rahman said, oh, Allah Akbar, I don't know what that means. Don't say it, Akhi. This type of mentality. I don't know what it means. Allahu Alam what it means. This is tariqun khati', mistaken path. Because it has thalatha mafasid that we took. Thalatha mafasid. 3 forms of corruption occurs when this is a person's belief. Takdeeb al-Qur'an, rejection of Qur'an, tajheel al-Rasul, declaring the Messenger of Islam as ignorant, and taking the path of the philosopher, giving the philosopher a chance to show themselves and bring this stuff out. وَأَنَّ الَّذِي قَالُوا إِنَّ طَرِيقَةَ السَّلَفِ هِيَ تَفْوِيض, and whoever said that this was the way of the Salaf, كَذَبُوا عَلَى السَّلَفِ, he lied upon the Salaf. But the Salaf affirmed the word and the meaning. يُثْبِتُونَ يَا سَلَفِ, you affirm al-lafz wal-ma'na, the word and the meaning. Ya Sunni, Ya Athari, you affirm the lafz wal-ma'na, the word and the meaning, and you believe in it. Not only that, but they explain it in detail in the books of their Aqidah. The people of Sunnah wal-Jama'ah, the people of Sunnah and those who gather on it, as-Salafiyun, Ahl al-Adhar, Firqat al-Najiyah, Ta'if al-Mansura, la yaharrifun. They don't distort or change or play the names and qualities of Allah Ta'ala. وَلَا يُبْطِلُونَ. They don't deny or reject partially or totally any of the names and qualities of Allah Ta'ala. وَيَقُولُونَ بِمَعْنَى النُّصُوص. But they say and they believe in the meaning of the text as Allah meant it. Istiwa al-arsh, that Allah Ta'ala rose over the throne, and that its meaning is not istawla, he conquered it. Believe in yadihi, his hand, that Allah has a hand in reality. And it's not to be said power or his blessing, because this is tahrif, distorting. This is change. This is playing with the meaning of Allah Ta'ala and the meaning of the names of Allah Ta'ala. Nor do they make ta'ati. Nor do they make ta'ati, denying. Now, let's see what he says. We're still trying to get through these 4 illnesses, 4 diseases, that if one avoids, his Aqidah will be sound. But if he falls into any one of them, his Aqidah will be corrupt. من غير تحريف, تعتيل, and now تكييف. تكييف من غير تكييف. لم ترد في الكتاب والسنة, the word تكييف like this, it come in Qur'an and Sunnah like that, but that which gives evidence to the fact that it's forbidden to do, the asking of how, going to the how, has been shown. التكييف هو أن تذكر كيفية الصفة. Takyif is that you mention the how of a quality. لهذا نقول في العربي كيف يكيف تكييفا, يعني أي ذكر كيفية الصفة. He mentioned the how of this quality. And it doesn't do any good to go into other words that would mean how, like somebody said, the modality of the quality. I mean, that's not going to help you. It's not going to help you. The point here is asking about how, going to the how, or giving it a how. وَالتَّقْيِيفْ يُسْأَلْ عَنْهُ بِكَيْفٍ. Taqyif yus'al anhu bi-kayf. In other words, generally a person asks about it by saying how. How is this quality? So when that happens, when someone comes in your face and says how, you know that this is what? Taqyif. He's asking about the kayfiyyah, so he's falling into taqyif. Ar-Rahman istawa. How istawa? Allah Ta'ala descends to this. How he descends? Allah Ta'ala, how? Huh? This is what? Taqyif. Taqyif. فإذا قلت مثلا, if you say, for example, كيف جاء زيد? How did Zayd come? كيف جاء زيد? You want to know how Zayd came. تقول راكبا, he came riding an animal. Alright? إذن كيفت مجيئه. You have given a how to how he came. كيف جاء زيد. تقول راكبا إذا كيفت مجيئه. You have given a way or a quality, or you have given a how. That's the best way to say it. You have given a how to how he came. How did he arrive where he was? كيف لون السيارة? What is the color of the car? You say أبيض. فذكرت اللون. You've mentioned the color. Said أبيض. It's white. Huh? Now, this is examples from the Sheikh. They show us exactly what it is. This which you asked about Zayd, you cannot ask about Allah. And that which you asked about that car, you cannot ask about Allah. Ahl al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah. And we like to interpret it, translate this as the people of Sunnah and those who gather upon it. And the people of Sunnah, those who gathered upon it. As we know the about the how, or give a how to the qualities of Allah. مستندين في ذلك الدليل السمعي والدليل العقلي. They use as their evidence a dalil sam'i, meaning what? A dalil what? Sam'i. Huh? I didn't hear you, man. You forgot. You knew. You've been sitting in these circles from the beginning. A sam is what? Revelation. Yeah, you know. You just got to be reminded. What dalil aqli? Dalil aqli, a dalil from the aql. Rationalization, reasoning. Amma dalil sam'i, the dalil from revelation. فَمِثْلَ قَوْلُهُ تَعَالَى, like the statement of Allah. We took this before, brothers. قُلْ إِنَّمَا حَرَّمَ رَبِّي الْفَوَاحِشَ مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا وَمَا بَطَنَ وَالْإِثْمَ وَالْبَغْيَ بِغَيْرِ الْحَقِّ وَأَن تُشْرِكُوا بِاللَّهِ مَا لَمْ يُنَزِّلْ بِهِ سُلْطَانًا وَأَن تَقُولُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. That's the part he wants. And that you say about Allah what Allah has forbidden, that you say about Allah that which you do not know. Surah Al-A'raf, verse 33. وَأَن تَقُولُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. And that you say about Allah that which you do not know. This is something that Allah has what? Forbidden. فَإِذَا جَاءَ رَجُلٌ. So if a man comes with قَالَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ اسْتَوَى عَلَى الْعَرْشِ, there Allah arose. Brothers are off for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe they'll call back. I don't know. You say Allah arose on the throne, and then you say like this, and then you start to give a description as to how. This is giving what? كيفية. كيفية. تقييد. نقول هذا قد قال على الله ما لا يعلم. This one has said about Allah that which he what? Does not know. هل أخبرك أن الله بأنه استوى على هذه كيفية? Did Allah tell you that he made istiwa like this? لا. أخبرنا الله بأن استوى. Allah informed it that he arose on the throne. وَلَمْ يُخْبِرَنَّا كَيْفَ اسْتَوَى. But he did not tell us how he made istiwa. فَنَقُولُ هَذَا تَقْيِيدٌ. This is asking about the how, or giving a how. وَقَوْلَ عَلَى اللَّهِ بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ. And speaking about Allah without what? Knowledge. وَلِهَذَا قَالَ بَعْضُ السَّلَفِ. وَلِهَذَا قَالَ بَعْضُ السَّلَفِ. Because of this, some of the Salaf said, إِذَا قَالَ لَكَ الْجَحْمِ. If a Jahmi says to you, Where Allah descends, to the heavens of the dunya. How does he descend? You should say to him, where Allah has informed us that he descends, he did not inform us as to how he descends. وَهَذِهِ قَاعِدَةٌ مُفِيدَةٌ. This is a beneficial point. Where Allah informed us that he descends, but he did not inform us as to how he descends. جيد. وَدَلِيلٌ آخَرٌ مِنَ السَّمْعِ. Another evidence from the Sama, from Revelation. قال الله تعالى, we took this ayah before also. وَلَا تَقْفُوا مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِعِلْمٍ. Do not speak about that which you have no knowledge. إِنَّ السَّمْعَ وَالْبَصَرَ وَفُؤَادًا. Verily the hearing, the sight, and the heart. كُلُّ أُولَٰئِكَ كَانَ عَنْهُ مَسْئُولًا. All of these will be asked about. Surah Isra, verse 36. لَا تَتَّبِعْ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِعِلْمٍ. Don't follow, don't say, don't state that which you have no knowledge of. Verily the hearing, the sight, and the heart, all of these matters will be asked about. أَمَّا دِلَالَ الْأَقْلِ. Intellectual, rational dalil. فَكَيْفِيَّةُ الشَّيْءِ. The how of something cannot be understood except from three matters. I like this point. Naam. Alaykum as-salam. Actually, we're involved in a lecture at the time. Preferably after the lecture. Well, in a few minutes, inshallah. Give us a half an hour. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum. The knowing of the how of something can only be known from three matters. You want to know the how of something? You can only know that from three matters. By witnessing it, Mashahidatuhu, witnessing it. You saw it, you know it, how it is. Or Mashahidatu Nadhiru, witnessing something that's just like it, equal to it, similar to it. That's two. Huh? Last one, O khabra sadiq an, or someone who informs you truthfully about it. Someone who informs you truthfully about it. A, meaning either you witnessed the how of this matter, and therefore you knew how it was because you witnessed it yourself, or you seen that which was similar to it. Like if someone, a sheikh gives an example here, said that this man bought a Datsun, and 88 model 88, Rakam Al-Fain, 2000, number 2000. Then you know what? Kayfiyatiha, because you've seen a Datsun, right? So you know it, because you have something similar to it, or someone who has something similar to it. Or someone who is truthful informs you of it. Atakaratun Sadiq, someone truthful comes to you and says, verily, such and such has a car, and this is how it is. Kada wa kada. Wasafaha bi tamamih, explains it to you totally. Huh? Now you know what the how of this car. Those three ways. ولهذا, because of this, أيضا قال بعض العلماء جوابا لطيفا. Some of the scholars said in a very smart and intelligent, subtle answer. In the معنى قولنا, our statement, بدون تقييد, without asking how, ليس معنى ألا نتقي لها كيفية. It doesn't mean that we don't believe it has a how. بل نتقي لها كيفية. We believe that it has a how. But what we're denying is that we don't know the how. Huh? Because the arising of Allah over the throne, no doubt that it has a how, but we don't know it. And the sending of Allah to the heavens of the dunya, no doubt that it has a how, but we don't know it. And this is known because nothing exists except that it has a how. But it can be known or it can be unknown. It can be ma'luma, known, or it can be majhula, unknown. Imam Malik rahimahullah was asked about the statement of Allah Ta'ala, Ar-Rahman Istawa, the most beneficent, the most merciful rose above the throne, the one full of mercy rose above the throne. Kayf istawa, how did he rise above the throne? He lowered his head, until he started to sweat. Then he raised his head and said, Al-Istiwa ghair majhul. The rising of Allah over the throne is not unknown. Ayy min hayth al-ma'na, from yarhamak Allah, from his meaning is known. لأن اللغة العربية بين أيدينا, because the Arabic language is before us. Arabic language is before us, so we know it. كل معادلة ورد فيها استواء. Every place that istiwa is mentioned, it is conveyed with the harf ala, the letter ala, and it means here al-ulu, highness. فقال استواء غير مجهول. The rising is not unknown. وكيف غير معقول. And the how is not known. لأن أقول لا يدرك كيف, until it cannot understand how. So therefore, adillah from Qur'an and Sunnah and Aqli denied the kayfiyah. So the how, for the servant knowing the how. In the case of the three matters he mentioned, we have not witnessed Allah Ta'ala, nor have we witnessed that which is similar to Allah Ta'ala, nor have we been told the how of the quality from the Prophet ﷺ, so we don't what? Know. Jayyid, mumtaz. Kaf anhu wajib. It's obligatory for you not to ask about the how. It is a bid'ah to ask about the how. It's haram for you to go into asking regarding the how. Wal iman bihi wajib. It's obligatory to believe in the particular quality we're talking about because Allah talked about it. Allah informed us of it. So we are to believe in it, but to ask about it is an innovation, is a bid'ah. Su'al and kayfiyya bid'ah. It's an innovation. لِنَمَنْهُمْ أَحْرَسْ مِنَّا لَعِلْمٍ, because those who were more concerned about knowledge didn't ask about it. They are the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they did not ask about it. He goes on to this in a little more detail, but bi'idhnillahi ta'ala we will stop here. We'll pick up bi'idhnillahi ta'ala from here, page 100 bi'idhnillah, Friday, and inshallah ta'ala we'll be asking questions at that time regarding tahrif and ta'til and taqweed and taqyif. هذا وصلى الله على نبينا محمد. في أسئلة؟ For him. Oh, you got to do your own work out. Tanzih. Tanzih means to raise Allah above any deficiency. Nadzaha. Like, nadzaha, something that you should stay, if you're talking about fiqh issues, something that you should stay away from. Like kirahat tanzih. Like makruh. When they say makruh, they got makruh, which is tahrim, which is forbidden. They got makruh, which is tanzih, which is, it fits you to stay away from, but it's not necessarily forbidden. When it comes to Allah Ta'ala, it means tanzih, that they are removing him from any deficiency. Removing him from any deficiency. So when you find the Salaf saying it sometimes, that we have ithbat, bila tashbih, and like this, and this with tanzih and so on and so forth. It means that we are doing it with observing the greatness of Allah Ta'ala and not ascribing any deficiencies to Him. Tanzih. And there are some who will say that many of the groups from Ahl al-Bidah who did not have a bad intent in messing up their Aqidah had the intent of tanzih, had the intent of removing Allah Ta'ala from all deficiencies. But this starts with a basic misunderstanding and sick premise, and that is that Allah Ta'ala Himself, when He described Himself in His book, described Himself in the Sunnah Messenger of Islam, did not intend tanzih, to remove Himself above it. So they felt they had to therefore come up with meanings that would give that. See? That's where they fell into what was wrong. They ran from something, called themselves running from tashbih, making similarity between Allah and His creatures, and fell into that which is worse than it. Alayka salam. Now we're talking about names and qualities here. And that's in general. I mean, of course, if Allah Ta'ala orders something, then of course taslim is there too. We may know the meaning, we may not know the meaning. We may know the meaning, we may not know the meaning. So, but what we're talking about here is the names and qualities. The names and qualities. In other words, if someone, you read in the hands of Allah is over their hand, you say, how is the hand of Allah over their hand? Allah Ta'ala descends to the heavens of the dunya, of the earth, and says, is there any at the third part of the night? And says, is there anyone who wants forgiveness, so I may forgive them? Anyone who would make invocation for something, so I may grant his invocation? Somebody says, how? How does He descend? Explain to me how Allah descends. This we don't go into because we don't know. And whatever we would say would be speaking about Allah Ta'ala without knowledge. And whatever we would say would be also making similarity between Allah and His creatures, tashbih. Because whatever we would come up with from our minds, whatever would be that which is similar to the creatures. Right? No, it's not similar at all. No similarity between them at all. He's saying, and He showed me how you give life. This is different. Huh? Yeah. No, this is different. This is something that's possible to understand. Something that's possible to be shown, as He showed him. Right? But this here is dealing with the names and qualities of Allah. You cannot know the how. You cannot know the how of the names and qualities of Allah Ta'ala at all. It's impossible for you. And we gave the example before that you don't even know the how of your soul. Right now, if I said to you, Akhi, explain to me your soul. What size is it? What color is it? What place is it in your body? You can't tell me. Right? So if you can't do that about that which is created, how can you do it about the Creator? Right? So we're talking about the danger of asking about the how. Ibrahim's thing is totally different. What do you mean it's up to types? Well, if you want to say it like that, but we don't say it like that. We say that we make taqweed to the how. Right? What we're talking about, we don't know it. We say that Allahu A'lam, Allah knows better. They make taqweed to the mind and the word. Right? They say we don't know the meaning of it. Like that alif lam mim is the same as saying the hand of Allah is over their hand. What you understand when I say alif lam mim is what they say they understand from the hand of Allah is over their hand. It is a type of it. But it is the one that is popular among the Ash'ari and popular among those people who like to say that this is the way to Salaf. And some of them actually believe themselves to be Salafi while they're carrying this belief. While this belief, according to Ibn Taymiyyah and others, is the worst of the beliefs of Ahl al-Bidah. Right? And the waqf was stopped. Yeah. Well, they're not the same in the sense of the actual taqweed, but they're the same of the
the type of people who try to be in the middle and be worse than both. I mean, be worse than the wrong group, and of course, it's far astray from the right group. And in other words, they say if we just don't say nothing, natawakkif, then we'll be okay, and that's not the case. You have to submit to what is correct. You can't be in the middle, you know. Right? No, they're saying that when they say Tariqat al-Salaf Aslam, this is just a way really of praising them while not really believing that it's Aslam. I mean, Sheikh is showing that they didn't really believe that. If they believed that, they would have took it. If someone explains to you, for instance, that you can go, you say you want to go to a particular city, and they say, okay, you can go to this city, you can take this one, you can take 208, or you can take this, you can take whatever, right? This one is real dangerous. This is the safest. If you really believe it's the safest, you're going to what? Follow it. So it's just a way of, you know, lulling the Salaf to calmness by saying, we got a little respect for them. They Aslam. But we're A'lam wa Ahkam. We have more knowledge and more wisdom. So the Shaykh, as you see, they went to great effort to show that the only way it's going to be Aslam, place think something's going to be safe, is when it's more knowledge and more what? More wisdom. Oh, yeah. Okay. The answer should be what we said the answer should be. Someone that says taqyif, comes with taqyif, it's saying how in a manner befits Allah's majesty, the better way would do is what the Salaf said. That Allah informed us of this quality and He did not inform us of the how of this quality. That would be a better answer because that's the answer that we have from the Salaf. And the way the Salaf is Aslam, A'lam, wa Ahkam. نعم بس زي النويز something got you. You got something to say. You just got the point. Thought about the point. He laughed out of satisfaction with what he heard. Oh, Ustadh. في شيء آخر خلصنا؟ Those are two different ayat. The hands of Allah is over their hands is an ayat dealing with something, and the thing, the Yahud saying the hands of Allah are tied and are stingy. Allah, we don't have to say that He's generous. He said in that ayah following up that verily His hands are widespread and He's generous and He spends. So these are two different ayat that we are dealing with. The apparent meaning that we want to get from it before anything else is that we affirm from these ayat the fact that Allah Ta'ala has a hand because He said it. The fact that Allah Ta'ala has a hand because He said it. And this is the meaning that we want to, that the Salaf will give regarding these ayat. So they nuthbit, or they affirm a quality first, and then if there's any other ma'ani, verses or meanings that are connected to it, they go into it at that. And these are to be found in the proper, acceptable tafasir of the Salaf. There's no problem in that. The difference between those upon with the Salaf and others is they will reject the apparent meaning that Allah Ta'ala has affirmed for Himself in this in these ayat, hands, and then give another meaning. But the Salaf, if they give other ma'ani, they do so at the same time while affirming the fact that Allah Ta'ala has a hand. So these are from the nusus that prove that Allah Ta'ala has a hand. And for the other ma'ani or meanings that are to be connected to them,
They have to be looked at in the respective books of tafsir, the tafsir of Salaf.
جيد خلصنا انتهينا. صلى الله على نبينا محمد.